What up, world? I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. Hope everybody's having a safe trip. If you're on your way to work or school, whatever your hustle may be. This is live from 95, where we talk, debate, and breathe hip-hop. For the fans, by the fans. This is your host, R, along with your other host,
G. Gabriel. What up?
Real quick, I just gotta get the crowd getting them ready.
That's how we feeling.
Gotta take it back.
That's all we ask of you. Anywhere. Oh man, getting them vibes right.
Get them right. Whether it's a Friday night, Saturday night, every night.
Yes,
Sipping on
it
the
is a
liquor.
Saturday night, and yes, courtesy of Jack Daniels Tennessee Honey, the liqueur of choice here. And see, we got a new little light up sign.
Well, we got a light now.
Which y'all can't see, but y'all will see hopefully one day.
Shining bright over here on this side.
But yeah, welcome to Live from 95, episode 4. It's been good for hip hop lately.
It has.
A lot of releases.
A lot of reviews, a lot of talk.
So there's definitely a lot of music we want to get into. But before that, I just need to update on something I mentioned in the last podcast. We briefly discussed Kanye West saying if his return to Chicago would bring back the old school Kanye sound. Fuck that. I've lost all
I'm done.
hope musically in that man. I'm just talking music. As everything else aside, I've been done with him. Music, being a fair and objective hip hop fan, giving him a shot after the recent fucking bullshit with SNL and the Trump meeting and all that. I'm not gonna spend time on this. Fuck Kanye. I'm done. I just want to update. Chance the Rapper was on the Joe Budden podcast, and he confirmed that that joint album that they were working on has not even started yet.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm done. Not wasting any more time on Kanye. I could say a lot, but I won't. Let's just get to hip hop. Let's get to the music. Last week we spent a lot of time on Lupe Fiasco's Drogas Wave. I wanted to give Lil Wayne his due respect, so we did not cover it last week because we did not have enough time to get into that album as deeply as I would have liked to. I've lived with it for a little bit. So we're going to get into some Carter 5 talk.
All right.
So have you had a chance to listen to it? How you feeling?
I have, and I have to say that it's more better than I was anticipating. It feels good to actually have Wayne back. As much, which as weird as that's saying,
Yeah, I ain't realized I missed Wayne in the game. I was never, a huge Wayne fan. I've mentioned before, I loved some of his songs on his albums. Always respected his lyricism. Always gave him a listen, but yeah, it's nice to have Lil Wayne back, and this album definitely delivers on all fronts you'd expect Weezy to deliver on for sure. I definitely had my standout tracks, my favorite tracks. So let's get into those a little bit. Starting with, the album starts strong with Don't Cry, featuring Triple X Tentacion.
XXX. Rest
Yeah,
in peace.
R.I.P. Yeah, that hook is crazy. Like, you feel that.
Yeah. But XXX always had that drive, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to pouring out his heart on the tracks like that.
Yeah, you listen to him a little bit more, before his untimely demise. So I know you definitely have more of a feel for
I
his
definitely
music.
was a fan for the kid. And it said that we lost him. So I feel like he was on some real greater things, and he would have accomplished a lot more greater things if he was still here with us. But
yeah, and you was telling me you heard something. Lil Wayne didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, but I was watching an interview, and he said that he didn't even know who XXX was prior to the song. Because his life and the situation.
It was a little bit of a bubble.
Which is fine, because there's artists that are under our radar, not because we chose not to listen, but it's just
Yeah, and I've heard him openly say that, he doesn't know a lot of the new.
That's fine.
New acts that are out, but yeah, this song is crazy. One of the first lines that hit me, one of his bars, he says, "I see death around the corner, and the U-turn signs looking like a smile." that play with the U-turn and the smile, that image is really really clever. So from that bar, what I'm getting is, he sees death around the corner, so he's approaching death in some way, or he's foreseeing it, and he's seeing this U-turn, which is saying like it's not your time, like you're on this path, but it's time, it's not your time yet. Turn around. But at the same time, the image of a smile is welcoming. So I feel like that smile metaphor meaning is like playing with the idea of death being welcoming instead of him taking that U-turn to continue living. So he's kind of like teetering that line. I thought that was a super dope and cleverly put, bar with that imagery. Another great bar, just coming from Lil Wayne as a legend. He comes out and says, "I am not number one. It's true. I'm number 92782." So 92782 is Lil Wayne's birthday. It's also the date the album dropped, September 27th. So here it's like he's acknowledging he's no longer at the top. Like he's not number one no more. And, his number now is his birthday, saying that's just him.
Yeah, it's kind of like a driver's license or social security, how it uniquely identifies a person. He's identifying himself as said number.
Yeah, so he's just him. He's not number one. He's not this whatever pedestal you put him on. He doesn't see himself as that. He's just him, which is super humbling coming from an MC like Lil Wayne. Another
is the other one is I need my family tree next to a money tree with a bunch of leaves in the Garden of Eden. With a bunch of dope. Eves, no fruit punch for me. If I sip the fountain of youth, so if I die, blame the juice. Which is, crazy given the history on, the Garden of Eve. Also, using the Fountain of Youth relates to, the young generation drinking lean. And Weezy acknowledges that if he dies prematurely, lean abuse is likely the cause. And, we also lost a lot of noble hip-hop figures such as Pimp C, UGK, and DJ Screw for lean abuse.
Yeah, RIP, that's crazy. And, we've discussed that on this podcast.
Episode 2.
And, yeah, and we'll get into it a little bit with another song of On the Carter 5, which he kind of alludes to his influence. And we'll definitely have that conversation also, because that's an interesting look, especially having Lil Wayne back in the game and looking at what's been coming out in his absence. But, yeah, another dope bar from the first verse is, he says, "Colorblind, even if I may be blue. A lot on my plate ain't my favorite food, but I'm hungry, so hungry." This is a very layered bar, and I love the imagery and the metaphors that he's using here. So blue obviously being, depression or sadness, and he's colorblind. So even if he is feeling blue, he's choosing not to recognize that or deal with it, or deal with it head on. So he's kind of like in this denial almost of his own feeling of depression and sadness. And then him saying there's a lot on his plate, ain't my favorite food, but I'm hungry, right? That saying, I have a lot on my plate right now, being like stressed, overwhelmed that there's, but nothing on his plate is his favorite food. So he has all the stuff that he's dealing with, and it's nothing that he wants to deal with. It's all, difficult issues, whatever the case may be. And he's just not enjoying it, right? But he's hungry, so
he's gonna eat it.
Well, is he gonna? See, that's dope right there. So I took it a different way. I'm like, is he gonna eat it? I never thought about that. I'm saying he has all this stuff on his plate, but he don't want it, so he's hungry because he's looking for the stuff that he does enjoy.
I take it as he got stuff on his plate and he doesn't want to eat it, but
he has to.
When you hungry,
you gotta eat it.
You're gonna just have to, you know what I'm saying?
Like
eat shit and snow.
Those punches, man. You just gotta eat them.
As my boss says, cut your nose, spite your face. But it's interesting to hear your view and my view, and we put them together. What are you guys' views? What do you guys think on those bars? And leave some comments below.
Yeah.
What you call it? One of my other favorite bars off the second verse of that song, which we went over, it was at the end. But I got mind control over my control. I lost control, but knew I'll find control. I let God control what I can't control. Can't control the tears. Let them drop and roll.
Oh, I love those. Love those
just,
bars,
what
man.
I'm saying? Just revisit and listen to it, because sometimes, I can understand how things can go over people's heads, but like the bars are there.
Yeah, so Lil Wayne has this thing where he's always done where he'll pick a word and play with that one word for a couple bars. And he does this. He's always done this. So in this case, the word control, right? He reuses that word in different circumstances. This line is super dope. If you just break it down, it's some crazy life advice right here, right? He got mind control over mind control. So he's like controlling his own thoughts, which is something everybody struggles with. You let your mind run and it goes places you may not want it to go. But, you know, Wayne's saying he's gotten control over that. So he's conscious of his thoughts. He can control them and he has that. But then he says, I lost control, but knew I'd find control. So now he's admitting, look, like I have control over my thoughts, but I lost it. But I knew I was going to find it again. Mm-hmm. And that's something I think everybody can relate to.
Yeah, definite.
And it's deep. And then the following up, I let God control what I could not control. That's just bro. Like, yeah, man. Like if you can only control so much, right? Mm-hmm. And most of that is only you. Like you can only control your actions, your reactions, your thoughts, your feelings. You can't control anything outside of your own person. So at that point, I mean, whether you believe in God or not, whatever outside force it is, you got to accept that there's certain things you can't control.
Some people would say karma, right? Some people would be like, you know what? Let karma.
Yeah, whatever it may be.
Whatever it is, you know?
So that was super dope. And then he finally admits, can't control the tears, let them drop and roll. Like, you're going through shit, sometimes you just got to let it go.
Sometimes you got to drop some tears, man.
You got to do it. So those are some beautiful, beautiful bars from Lil Wayne. Off the jump. Like, first track on the album. Boom. Hits us with Don't Cry. So that was definitely a highlight of mine. Another highlight for me was Can't Be Broken. Mm-hmm. Super dope song. Talks about, you know, the stuff he's been through and, you know, how it didn't break him. He kept persevering. Some of my favorite bars off this track go, they scared to face the truth because they hate the view. They taste the juice. I hope it make them puke. I'm breaking loose. Right? So they scared to face the truth. So you know the saying, you know, the ugly truth, or the truth is you know, it's hard to swallow, right? Mm-hmm. So they're scared to face that because it's ugly, right? You don't want to look at anything that's ugly. So you're scared to look at the truth. You know, it's scary to look at. You know, so you don't want to face it. So they hate the view of the truth. Like nobody wants to look at it. And then they taste the juice. I hope it make them puke. For me, to taste the juice is like the truth serum. Right? When they make you taste that truth serum, and truth is hard to swallow, so it makes them puke. So I love these little connections that he's using on well-known sayings about truth and kind of putting them in his own creative way. And then, you know, I make them puke, I'm breaking loose, but that breaking loose part is super important because that's like, once you do face the truth, right? It's ugly. It makes you want to throw up. You got to swallow it. But then once you accept it, you're free. Mm. Right, so for me, it's just like, you know, the truth, and now Lil Wayne is free now because he's faced it, and that again, super relatable, bro. Like the bars on this album, Lil Wayne's always had bars, but I feel like this one is one of his more personal albums, so because of that, there's things here that like this is crazy, so that was dope. Another one of my favorite bars from that track, he says, I ain't finna break or fix the breaks you emulate. I'm laughing in your face. Now fix your face. I can't disintegrate. Mm. So this is, again, that example where he's playing with one word. In this case, is break. Right? Mm-hmm. So he's not taking breaks and he has no plans of stopping. So I ain't finna break or fix the breaks. And he's not fixing the breaks because he's not trying to stop. So now he's back, right? And, you know, you emulate. I'm laughing in your face. So he's laughing at his emulations. Like all these emulations trying to be him. If you look at a lot of these Lils, yeah, with the face tattoos, yeah, and the locks, you know, the colored hair and shit, yeah, like that's Weezy, that's Wayne, yeah. So I feel like that may have been a little, you know, subliminal, you know, jab over there, or just maybe him just stunting, stating like, you know, I'm laughing at y'all emulated me, like that's what it is. And then I can't disintegrate, you know, self-explanatory again on the whole theme of the song. He can't be broken. And then another standout bar for me on this track, and then we'll move on. He says, I'm really great, but don't discriminate, because I done seen the mirror break behind a pretty face. Right? So for me, and I definitely want your perception on that bar. For me, he's saying, like, no matter how great or beautiful something may be, inside may be ugly enough to break a mirror.
I feed off that, and I give you in return that, you know, how the most beautiful person, we're gonna use a girl in this example, right, can look at herself in the mirror and she could be as flawless as ever.
I like where you going.
But deep down, those inner demons, how she feels inside might be as ugly. She might feel, you know what, I'm a bad person, and that's more enough to, you know what I'm saying, make you see and perceive yourself to be more uglier than you are, because you know the secrets.
Yeah, and then from there, you know, there's this whole, you know, questioning what kind of life you should have, what you deserve based on things like that. We just get super deep right now on one bar from Lil Wayne.
You know what I'm saying?
If this doesn't prove this man is a legendary lyricist, I don't know what will. But yeah. So moving on. Dark Side of the Moon, I'm not gonna do no super like bar breakdown on that. Dope track with Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear them collab on this project. Yeah. Love Nicki in her R&B lane. She can sing.
She can.
I just want to give Nicki a shout out for that, cause
she can.
That was a dope track. Moving down the line, we mentioned this one last time. This has been getting some hype. Mona Lisa,
which is probably the first track that comes to your mind when
talk about it.
Mona Lisa. First of all, it's featuring Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
I have to say that I really enjoyed this collab. I'm looking forward to actually hearing more down the road if we could. I love the both perceptions. I love the stories they both tell. Kendrick again, bro. He kills it, and Wayne kills it. It was just a perfect collab. The story, try to keep up, put two and two together. It's an amazing thrill ride.
Yeah, and just to put some like training wheels on that ride for y'all, right? So Lil Wayne's telling this crazy story on how, you know, they use this woman to set up people to rob. Mm-hmm. And they go through those motions, and it's crazy. And then Kendrick closes the track as being the dude that's getting played. Yeah. And it's sick. And Kendrick, his style on this track, you could hear the influence of Lil Wayne. And there's a lot of Eminem influence on Kendrick's verse there also. Oh, yeah. I just want to like point that out. It's like that verse is, if you took Lil Wayne style and Eminem style and merged it, that's what Kendrick did on his verse. And he killed it. Like, the flow's crazy. The story's crazy. Just one quick note on the title, Mona Lisa, right? So you're like, what the hell does a painting, Leonardo da Vinci painting, have to do with this story?
This is interesting because I feel like we're gonna have two different views. You go first.
So the girl's name is Lisa, right? So this girl that they put on dudes to rob and play, whatever. You know, she uses sex as a way to gain the trust of the men before, you know, the setup. So Mona Lisa, I think, is a play on Moaning Lisa, right? Now you get the picture. So, you know, the painting, Mona Lisa, get the picture, Moaning Lisa. So that's where I feel like the title came in based on the story. What are your views on that? Because I know you had a little bit of a different interpretation.
I did. I think it's interesting because of the history behind the painting. And some of the controversy is you can't tell if she's smiling or if she's sad or whatever. Whatever the, you know, her expression, you can't read it, right? Just like this girl, you don't know what her intentions are, right? You think she's here for a good time or she might love you, but the deeper intention is like she's playing a bigger part of having these guys come in, you know, distracting you, getting you at your vulnerable space, and, you know, taking advantage of a situation, you know. So I feel like, yeah, it might actually be both things. You know, her name is Lisa and she's hard to read. You don't know her true intentions, and just when you think you do not know. But I'm just rambling. Let me take a sip.
Yeah, I just took mine. But nah, that was, yeah, that it's a dope track and definitely deep on multiple levels. Check that shit out. Another highlight for me was Open Letter. And this is basically, you know, Lil Wayne talking to his family, talking like about life in general. I just want to highlight a couple quick bars here. Like, there's a lot of teaching moments in this album, man. He says, way too concerned to be conceited. I live and I learn, then die trying to teach him. Lord, die trying to reach him. They care about how much I leave them. Where'd I leave it? Right? So he's too concerned to be conceited. So that's just, again, he's humbling himself throughout this project. Like, he's too worried about trying to be the man, about trying to be, you know, saying he's the shit. I live and I learned and die trying to teach him. I love that bar.
Yeah.
Because ain't that all of us?
Yeah.
We live, we learn from our mistakes, and then we die trying to teach those mistakes.
There was a saying too. Learn from the mistakes of others, because you can't live long enough to make them all yourself.
Yeah. And
So
then, you know, die trying to reach him, right? So not even just teaching them, but really trying to like embed those lessons to whoever, even trying to reach them yourself.
Yeah. It's hard.
Because you'll learn lessons and you'll keep making the same fucking mistake. You know, so you'll die trying to reach your own damn lesson sometimes.
Yeah.
So I just feel like those bars are super deep. And then the last part of that I mentioned, they care more about how much I leave them, where'd I leave it. I feel like that's just him questioning, like, you know, everybody around him just cares, you know, what they gonna get when he's gone. And he's just like, where'd I leave it? Like, I don't even know what I did with it. Like, where did it all go? And that could be, you know, materialistic or not. Like, there could be so many meanings behind that.
If I have to pick a couple bars from there, where he kind of right off the first verse, sometimes I feel like I ain't shit. Sometimes a nigga feel like shit. Talking about some real life shit. Goodbye letter. What else he says?
Dear life shit.
Dear life shit. So if a nigga kill me, hope he meant it, right? And then they probably won't miss me till they'll need me. Have problems with admitting that they need me, right? And then goes off to what you said about I live and I learn and I die trying to teach him. You know, and he's just talking about, you know, he just got off the phone with his son, told him that you're a son of a gun. Got off the phone with my daughter, and he won't hesitate to fuck up all her little boyfriends, pretty much. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, man. And then he ends it with, like, what is my meaning, my reason? That's the question. Isn't that the question for us all?
That is the question.
Get super philosophical. But this is another dope track. Love this record.
And then if you want to finish it off with the ending, looking in the mirror at the one that know me better. I was too busy to talk. I wrote an open letter.
Oof.
All right. So it's there. Chills. Bro. It's there.
Oh, fucking Wheezy, man. Which other ones? Dope New Strangers was a dope track. Not gonna get crazy into that one. Definitely check that one out. That's a highlight. Perfect Strangers was cool. It was Lil Wayne on his romantic bag. Doing his little singing stuff. But Perfect Strangers is it's a different type of record. Let me just pull up some of the lyrics quick here. Just off the jump, I don't know who you are anymore. Talking to the man in her mirror that been fucking with these bitches and it's dangerous. That sets the tone for the whole record. I'm gonna leave the rest to y'all to go discover if you haven't already. But even talking to the man in her mirror, so he's not even in his own home, right? Perfect Stranger is the name of the record. Done. Like that's a hard record. The last one I definitely want to get into is Let It All Work Out. Let It All Work Out. One of my favorites. This is another super introspective record where he starts off again looking in the mirror. So a mirror seems to be a motif throughout this whole.
Remember with Bruno Mars?
Yeah, mirrors. That was off the Carter 4 or 3.
I want to say
one of them.
It was the latest one, 4.
4.
I want to say 4.
I love that song. I think that was my favorite song on the record. So yeah, Lil Wayne is you know, he talks about mirrors a lot through this album. So this record again, he starts again with looking in the mirror, and he says, you know, don't let the money come between us. He's looking in the mirror saying, don't let the money come between us. So like he's like, don't let the money change him.
He could be talking to himself and trying to keep himself humble and bring him back down. Like, yo, don't let this fool you, man.
Yeah, but the main part of this record I wanted to get to was the last verse. There's a snippet right before this record of his mother talking about the infamous incident where Lil Wayne shot himself when he was a kid.
I remember that.
Right. So there's a snippet before this record starts of his mom saying that she never questioned Lil Wayne on that incident, like what really happened.
Okay.
So at the end of this record, he tells a very, very striking story, and he tells the truth about this incident. So it turns out he didn't accidentally shoot himself.
He tried to.
He was 9 years old, contemplating suicide, and he purposely pulled the trigger. So that was crazy, because that, as a casual Wayne fan, I was aware of that situation that he had. So hearing it in his record was sick. So he says, Tunchi, you a monster. Looked in the mirror again, looking in the mirror, but you wasn't there. I couldn't find you. I'm looking for that big old smile full of diamonds. Instead, I found this letter you ain't finished writing. It read, I'm sorry for even apologizing. So he's looking in the mirror, looking for some kind of glimmer of hope or happiness, and he don't see it. He's not seeing it in himself. He doesn't even see himself. So he says, I tried compromising and went kamikaze. I found my mama's pistol where she always hide it. So he tried to compromise, right? He tried to look inside himself or whatever it was, and he's kamikaze, right? He went suicidal. These bars are super descriptive, and I'm just gonna read them as is. So I found my mama's pistol where she always hide it. I cried, put it to my head, and thought about it. Nobody was home to stop me, so I called my auntie, hung up, then put the gun up to my heart and pondered. Too much was on my conscience to be smart about it. Too torn apart about it. I aimed where my heart was pounding. I shot it and I woke up with blood all around me. It's mine. I didn't die, but I was dying. God came to my side and we talked about it. He sold me another life and he made a profit. Those are some deep bars right there. So him retelling this story from this perspective, right? Like, too much was on my conscience to be smart about it. How many times has that been the case? I think we've all been there, right? Too much on our minds to be smart about the decisions that we're making. And this is super, super important. But again, I feel like this podcast is just crazy because as we talk about things, I'm starting to realize consistencies in hip hop today that before doing this podcast, I'd never really realized. This talks a lot about the suicide and, all of this, depression and stuff going around and people feeling these kind of ways and nobody talking about it. Like, mental health is a huge, huge issue. And Lil Wayne was 9, right?
Yeah.
When this? So imagine what a 9-year-old could be possibly going through to put himself in this situation. Right? It's crazy and it's deep and almost a little bit inspiring that he did this and he went through it and luckily he survived and the world would have been robbed of Lil Wayne and his legacy and his music and everything. So I think that was just a great way to close out the album. And just the hook, let it all work out. That sample is
yeah.
That sample is crazy.
The samples are fire.
But yeah, Carter 5, man.
If you guys haven't heard it or checked it out yet, please do.
I mean, and if you've heard it, listen to it. Don't just hear it. Like, listen to it. Like, I feel like Lil Wayne is so musically savvy. He could do the beat and the rhythm and the melody and the hook, and it's songs you could bump to. But if you really listen to him, he's spitting some deep bars there. Like, he got it. He's there. Legendary status. So really, really take your time to comb through, the album, because there's a lot to discover there, and it's definitely well worth the wait. So shout out to Lil Wayne. Welcome return back to hip hop. Before moving forward, I wanted to talk about that track, Dedication, where he's kind of like stunting and admitting all these things these kids is doing, they got from me.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, right? Because you got to take the good with the bad from that. So let's talk a little bit about what is Lil Wayne's influence on today's hip hop, like, because I feel like that gets tricky a little bit. Not take anything away from Wayne, because Wayne had his own style. I feel like these kids coming in the game.
I feel like he was the first face tatted, dreads.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As far as I can remember, lean, all that shit. And I feel like, now I turn on the TV, which is a rare thing, and I see 16-year-olds with more tats than him. You know, sipping lean, all this ridiculous shit.
I mean, in a way, he birthed this generation. As like I say that with a cringe, because it's like, damn, like these mumble rappers now is, you know, artistically trash.
We couldn't say that Wayne was a mumble rapper, so how?
No, so that's what I'm saying. Like his
Yeah.
influence is tricky because his legacy in today's generation, you could definitely see the physical attributes, right? The face tats, the colored hair, the dreads, even that rock star lifestyle, right? Like Lil Wayne had his time when he was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had that semi rock album that he put out, Rebirth.
I remember.
Right? So this whole star lifestyle mixed with the hip hop and stuff, that was Wayne. So a lot of the stuff these kids is doing is from, and Wayne was the number one dude. Like we went through that era.
That time,
like
yeah.
You know, M was just out the game. Lil Wayne was the next one to pick it up right after that, and that Lil Wayne had that long run. So
Yeah.
I feel like the kids, this new generation, they took that, but they didn't take Lil Wayne's lyricism.
I agree 100% with that.
And that's unfortunate. Because if these kids would have been fully influenced by Wayne, the way, you know, Kendrick Lamar said he's been influenced by Wayne, and all these other artists say they've been influenced by Wayne, yeah, things would be different. So it's just weird how, you know, what attributes transferred over and what didn't.
I agree.
So it's a little bit of an awkward conversation to have because Lil Wayne is such a legend and we love him, but at the same time you can't help but even the name Lil, like everyone's a Lil.
Everybody's a Lil.
You know what I mean? So that influence is there. I guess, you know, take the good with the bad. But yeah, nothing away from Lil Wayne's legacy. It's interesting to see like what, you know, having Lil Wayne back in the game, looking at him and then being like, oh, doing the double take, like,
yeah, because I never thought that I would be anticipating.
I never made that association
and waiting for a Wayne album the way I was actually.
Well, not only that, I never made that association between these Lils and Lil Wayne until Lil Wayne came back into the game.
I knew that, and just like if you remember the Youngs, everybody had Young in their front name to a point where I think like some were taking the Little out of their name and some were taking the Young out of their name.
Yeah, I don't know. It was crazy, but yeah, welcome back, Lil Wayne. We missed you. Good to have Weezy back in hip hop, and hopefully we'll get another project in a year or less, maybe, because Lil Wayne was a workhorse in his prime. So let's see what happens. Another release that came out with Lil Wayne that we didn't get to touch on was Logic. He dropped his Young Sinatra 5. We spoke about Wu-Tang Forever already, which for me is the highlight of the album. Have you gave that album a spin?
No.
So I have a weird relationship with Logic as a fan. I first discovered him on Beast Mode with Royce 5'9" and DJ Premier.
Nickel.
Yeah, that song was fire. That's when he first caught my attention. I loved his verse. So after that, I delved into his, his musical library, and I became a fan for a while. And then Everybody came out, his last album. I liked the message, but the more I saw of Logic and how he maneuvered, I wasn't sure how genuine it was. And I see a lot of criticism on Logic of, he's always talking about he's half black, half white. And
but like, I feel like that doesn't get you like lash. So I feel like he's just.
Well, I feel like it got lashed because, first of all, the way he looks, he don't look black. He looks white. So let's be real about that.
But like, I really don't care about how the man looks.
No, we don't, but other people do.
Why are they putting so much effort? Are they buying his looks or are they buying his music? Because I'm confused. What did Adele once say? She makes music for the ears, not for the eyes, when they told her to lose weight.
Right, exactly.
So I feel like, again, make your music, bro. I'm here to make music. You're hearing my voice. You're not looking at me. You are not sleeping with me.
To that point, his music was always putting the focus on his look.
Why?
Because I don't know. Like, I know you've never been like a huge Logic fan. There was one point where I was listening to him a lot.
I was never a Logic fan. I heard a few of his songs and I became a fan of the music, not of him per se.
Right.
Of certain stuff. Like, he is a skilled artist. I do believe that he is. I agree with what you said about the way he was maneuvering. I know there was some stuff that, again, we're not a gossip, station, so I'm not going to talk about the gossips, but there are some maneuvers and some stuff that he was doing that we didn't agree with, and it changes the outlook on the person.
Especially in hip hop, right? Because for the most part, these MCs, they write their own music. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a little bit different with MCs. But with Logic, is to your point of, it's not how you look. It's not that he made it a point, especially in Everybody. Like in that last album, that was like one of the central topics of that album was his biracial ethnicity. He has an issue with it, and that's fine because we want to hear what the artist.
But wait, so he's the one who's making a thing about it
through his music, and because of that, as a listener.
Oh, so people are upset with him because
he's always talking about it as if he's justifying. Oh, I'm half black. Like I feel like because he looks white, he feels the need to always say he's biracial, and he's struggled with that identity wise. And those tracks are interesting to hear. So that's what turns people off to Logic.
I don't know, son.
Logic's point, he tells his internal story and his internal struggles. I just feel like he overemphasizes it, and this has been criticism from his peers, from hip hop community and others. That aside, Young Sinatra, he finally strayed away from that. His Young Sinatra series is more traditional and has more of a boom bap sound, which he brings back, it was nice to hear, like that old school sound. The production was great on Young Sinatra 5. Another criticism Logic has gotten is the genuinity of his messages. So Logic I fucks with the message. I love it. We need the positivity. At the same time, I agree with a lot of fans that say he hides behind that.
I don't want to lose you on your train of thought, but what's the name of the album?
The new one?
Yeah.
Young Sinatra 5.
Sinatra.
Young Sinatra 5, yeah.
Feeding off of Frank Sinatra.
I never looked at it that way.
Blue eyes to prove
it's one of his alter egos. So these are a lot of issues, but, and it's in his music, so we're not delving away from the music itself. But yeah, so that was a lot of the criticism he got with, from this last album, Everybody. So this one, he just is more traditional rap, boom bap style. It's okay. Having listened to all of Logic's albums, this one was along the Young Sinatra line, but it was a little bit underwhelming, especially compared to recent releases. Like, we've had Eminem's Kamikaze, we've had Lil Wayne's Carter 5, we've had recently, Styles P and Dave East's Beloved, which I'll give a shout out to again later on. There's been such unique, dope hip hop releases. This kind of sounds underwhelming. Another thing about Logic, he's talented.
He is.
Rhyme schemes, dope, got it. Flow, got it. Speed, got it. He could chop it up with the best of them. He's done tracks with Tech Nine.
I've seen it.
Got it. When it comes to lyricism, though, he's lyrical, but he's not deep.
So you're saying that he's just nasty with killing syllables?
No,
the cat in the hat got a bat in the whack.
No, because what he said, the content is there. Like his message is positive, and we need more of that in hip hop. So I appreciate Logic's place in hip hop for that, for being that super positive guy. Although it doesn't always come across as genuine as he might like it to. The positive message is there. The content is there. What I mean by deep is we just broke down Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Where he's saying things that mean double meanings and is deep, and you could really get into it. Logic will have those life lessons, but it's very surface. It's okay, I got it. It doesn't take much thought to decipher his lyrics most of the time. He'll occasionally have a metaphor and a simile here or there, but I feel like Logic is very surface when it comes to his bars and his lyricism. Not to say he's a whack lyricist, because again, content is there. Techniques are there. He got, the syllables, the wordplay. I mean, a little bit lacking on the wordplay. The syllables, the speed, all the technical skills are there. But when it comes to the depth of the bars, I feel like Logic is lacking. And that comes across on this album. There's a track on the album, I forget the name of it, but he tries to tell a story of, he's having this dream where his wife gets kidnapped, and it's this whole robbery scenario, and at the end, I think the character who kidnapped the wife, it ends with something about he realizes it was him. The idea is great. He did not deliver on it though. The song kind of just, it doesn't have much emotion to it.
I get you.
You know what I mean? It's like reading a book that like drags, or like a movie that had a good idea but didn't execute it.
Got you.
Is kind of like what I got from that song.
Okay.
And overall, that's kind of like how I feel about this album. Like the idea was great. You can listen to it. Compared to what else was out, and maybe that was his bad timing, because you know there's been a lot of heavy hip hop drops. But that's where we're at with Logic. There's just one other thing I want to open a little bit of a debate here between us. I believe I mentioned this quote before, but I want to bring a little bit more attention to it, especially since we're focusing on Logic a little bit more. Back in March of this year, of 2018, Logic made a statement where he said he doesn't make music for hip-hop culture. He makes music for his fans. And then he went on to say, what is the culture even? I don't even know what that means. As a hip-hop fan, I feel a certain way.
Make that both of us.
About that. Like, how do you not know what the culture is?
First of all, your fans are fans of you. They have to be a fan of hip-hop, which is the culture.
He also has he has more of a broad fan base than other more like probably pure hip-hop artists would have. Like, you know what I mean? So I guess that's where he's saying what he's saying. But where my beef is with this statement is he doesn't. What is the culture even? I don't even know what that means. Not even that he's questioning what the culture is. We'll get into that. I don't like that he says he doesn't even know what that means, because he's definitely a student of the game.
Yeah.
Right? He respects the art. He is an MC. Like, he is a pure MC. And he has respect of his peers. Like, who the hell is going to get all of Wu-Tang on a track? Mm-hmm. Like, so much props and respect to Logic for even getting that together. And Wu respecting him enough as a lyricist to actually get together to give him that feature, right? Mm-hmm. But how can you say you don't even know what that means? Another reason why I kind of feel him is culture has become a buzzword. And I want to try to stay away from using that word on this podcast, because I feel like a lot of culture vultures are using that term, saying they're for the culture and all this other shit. Nah, fuck it. If you're for the culture, you shouldn't have to state it. Yeah. This is just B, right? So Logic questioning what is the culture even. I want to pose that question to us, because look at what's being accepted, and we've touched on this, right? We got, you know, Lil Pumps, the Tekashi 6ix9s, the, you know, all these Lils and shit. Is that the culture now? Like, is that hip hop? So what is the culture even? That's an interesting question.
It's tough, right? Because I'm stuck in the middle with this question on the answer. I feel like the direction that hip hop is gone in, it is the culture. But if you want to ask me as a fan, part of it, I disagree. I feel like, you know, just because I put a fucking mask on and go trick-or-treating doesn't mean every day I can go trick-or-treating and getting candy from people, right? Just because, you know, we celebrate a new year or one day out of the year, you know, to welcome us into it doesn't mean every day we celebrate the new year, right? So where I'm going with this is, just because somebody's doing some shit doesn't mean that it's all right. If me and you take a walk off the bridge and another person saw that, do they automatically jump off it because that's the culture? That's what we do. We walk off the bridge. We don't walk on it. So, you know what I'm saying? Just, you got to be able to decipher what it is. And there's a lot of young kids out there that listen to this and are probably right now influenced by it. 5 years from now, it's going to get worse, right? We're going to have kids here who are looking at this generation of kids, and they're feeding off of that.
Let's hope not.
But, you know, this is where, you know, do we go downhill? Do we decline as a society? Do we just allow it? Do we not say anything? Do we not correct it? Do we just let it take its course?
We've talked about this. Like, I've been adamant in saying, you know, hip hop needs to do what it's always done and check. But, you know, check the whackness, check it.
When somebody does, like, you know what I'm saying, an OG does check it, you know, they consider quote unquote or old head or.
Well, I feel like that's changing, right?
I don't know, because I know, what is it? I forgot, what's the guy's name, bro?
Who's talking about?
The one that Tekashi dissed. Ebros?
Ebro in the morning.
I know
Hot 97?
Ebro says something and Tekashi was like just another old nigga on a young nigga's dick.
Oh, yeah, on that stupid track, yeah.
And I feel Ebro's handled it hilarious, bro, and shouts out to Ebro.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? But it's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so that's what I'm saying, so.
What's okay? So who's wrong in that situation, right? Is Tekashi wrong? Or is this guy wrong for Ero's wrong for clapping back at a child?
I mean, if we're talking about hip hop, I don't think anybody's wrong. Fuck that child shit too.
But
you stop giving that excuse because they want to act like men. They in this hip hop shit, so they get treated like men.
That's what
Fuck
it is.
That.
That's exactly what it is.
So who's right and who's wrong? I mean, it's hip hop, right? You dissed and Ebro made a joke of it and clapped back. But that's what I'm saying. So like, what is the culture even? Like, I know what it is in my heart as a fan. What I see in the mainstream is not. But I feel like it's shifting, right?
I don't know.
We had Royce the 5'9's album.
A lot of artists are dropping gems right now, but I feel like.
Well, hold on, because Caterpillar got a lot of attention. I was so happy because I've been a fan of Royce for so long. And he's finally now, I feel like, getting the recognition that he deserves. That Caterpillar video was popping. Like, shit got popular and got views.
I just want to say that I Want a Bad Meets Evil 2 by at least 2020.
Yeah, you might hear that a lot on this podcast.
2020.
But M had that bar where, he said...
Axe to mumble rap.
Yeah, and that caused some buzz, right? And then following that, we got Kamikaze, which is a whole... statement on the state of hip-hop, and I feel like that was just in response to everything, and there's more meaning in Kamikaze than people were giving it credit to. And then we got before that we had the Drake Pusha beef, right? And we had the MGK beef. Now we have Lil Wayne. I just feel like the conversations now in hip-hop are gearing more towards the lyricist.
I'm hoping that it stays in that direction, and I hope time passes, we don't shift back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like now we're getting that shift back because now we're talking more about J. Cole. We're talking more about Lil Wayne. We're talking more about M. But you know what I'm saying? So, and then all these other lyricists coming out. So, I feel like it's shifting back. You know what I mean? I feel like hip-hop is coming back. And, there's a lot of new artists getting shine.
Speaking of new artists, I want to shift the conversation to... an artist that we have just started listening to, Black.
Oh, yeah. Oof. Black. His sophomore album also was released. It came out the same week as Lil Wayne and Logic, right?
Something of that. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, sorry. I got dragged into the depths of Drogas Waves and we couldn't address all this. And I definitely want to give all these artists their due shine because there's been some exceptional music coming out.
What is it? East Atlanta Love Letter. Briefly wanting to touch up on it. Amazing album I got from it is a lot of heartbreak, a lot of relationship, trial and tribulation, and his story on, doing this music and trying to juggle relationship and being a father. Great album. Matter of fact, scratch that. Amazing album.
It is. I mean, this was my introduction to Black. I've heard his name before. I didn't listen to his first project. This one, R put me on to, and goddamn, that shit just spoke to my soul.
We're gonna break down at least like 3 songs. Right? One of them is right in the beginning. It's called Unfair.
Love it.
Amazing song. He sings. He raps. The beat definitely is something.
Production throughout this album is fire. There's not a whack beat.
But real quick, I'm going to have to quote his verse. Hope my mistakes don't make me less of a man. Because lately it feels like, dang, shit's really can. I'm praying I don't wake up all alone.
Oof.
It's hard to stay it, so I write a song. But it ain't equal to me writing wrong. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I might have figured this out the hard way. We may not end on our best terms. Maybe we should love and we should learn.
Shit gives me tingles, yo.
But the ending where he's like, so if you ever fall, you know that I'll be there. I know how to put my ego aside. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
You said you never want to share, but now I'm stuck between what I love and who I love. And I know it's unfair.
Yeah, so he's talking about his struggle between his love for music and his love for, his girl, right?
And she's putting him in a position where he has to choose. And he's like, he's stuck, with what he loves and who he loves and,
But on a broader spectrum, that could mean so many other things to, anybody else. This whole album is just so relatable. And the way he puts words together, because like he said, he raps things, but he has a line in this album where he says he's a R&B he's an R&B dude with a hip hop core, and that's kind of what it is. He puts words together like no other R&B artist because he has that MC background.
And I just love the album cover, and I was watching an interview. It's him actually in the kitchen with the mic set up, the speakers, and his daughter strapped to his chest. And I think that is the most realist picture that you can get. And I heard it's an actual picture that they took on Father's Day when they were doing shoots, and he just used it. So it's real. It's not staged. It wasn't, made up. It's as real as it's gonna get.
Yeah, hell yeah. Another
And that song leads into my other favorite song, Loaded Gun.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to this production detail because this doesn't happen a lot on albums. The way Unfair flows into Loaded Gun, like the ending of the beat from Unfair and how it leads into the beginning of the beat for Loaded Gun is just, but it's not done often enough. And this just flow from Unfair to Loaded Gun was crazy. Loaded Gun is another fire track. Let Her Go is a highlight for me. Pretty Little Fizz with J. Cole. J. Cole's verse, man, this is one of my favorite J. Cole verses. And I just want to hit up these bars because, I would just highlight his whole verse, but just to be specific, my favorite part of J. Cole's verse on there, he says, where's it at? He says, count on your mean wildfire, can't handle your flame. Download your strain, wild high, come drown in your fragrance. You that red pill that a nigga found in the Matrix. Before I had you, this shit was fantasy. You plant a seed to grow some roots, a branch and leaves, becomes a tree of life until our nights are filled with peace from stress and strife. And that's the blessing that I get from wife and you, cause you can, and trust in me with the key to your heart, beating you smart. I love that imagery of how he creates the tree of life from the imagery of, like a seed and growing roots, and that image of creating this, ideal relationship, right? Where, your nights are filled with peace from stress and strife. You know what I'm saying? And just creating that roots. I love that imagery, man. Like, J. Cole's a poet. That shit was crazy. Disconnect, the favorite of mine on there.
Also, if you're going through shit, this album might be something that you want to listen to.
Oh yeah. This album speak to your soul. It gave me chills. The lyricism on here is just crazy. But yeah, man. Shout out to Black.
Word.
East Atlanta Love Letter.
Amazing.
Check it out. Definitely, I think one of my favorite albums of the year.
That'll be later on where we're gonna, before the year is over, where we're gonna come up with a nice list for you guys.
So on that note, other releases that have come out recently that, again, I want to give some of these projects their due respect, so we're not gonna go into them, but just a huge shout out. Check them out. We got Beloved, a joint record with Styles P and Dave East. If y'all don't know who Dave East is, he's one of the younger MCs. He's been killing it for a while in New York. I've checked out a couple of his projects. Dope lyricist. He's actually signed to Nas's label, so he's legit if Nas recognized the talent. Shout out to Dave East. I love the idea of this album as, there's been a lot of conflict between the young generation and the old generation. I like how this album takes Styles P, who's a vet and, legendary member of the Locks, dope MC, and he kind of teams up with a younger cat in Dave East, and they make this banging album. It's definitely old school gritty New York hip hop, like, for real. So if you're into that, check that shit out. T.I. dropped a new joint, Dime Trap. I've checked out a couple tracks over that album. So check that out, especially if you're a T.I. fan. He does his thing as as an elder statesman in hip hop. And surprisingly, Ghostface, Ghostface Killer from Wu-Tang, dropped an album called Lost Tapes, which I did not know until recently. So I'm definitely gonna check that out. And depending on what else comes out, between now and the next podcast, we'll do some breakdowns and shout out, a couple tracks off these albums. But lyricism is coming back, people. Let's pay it attention.
Let's definitely acknowledge it and get it to where it needs to be. Support.
Yeah, support the real shit. Get this whack shit out of here. So now I think it's been an episode or two since we shouted out some under the radar artists.
Real quick, before we shout out we do that. Also, it's been surprising. I just found out earlier today, that Hobson and Dizzy Wright are actually making music again. For those who don't know, Hobson, one of the members of Funk Volume, had a little dispute with their friend / manager, fellow colleagues, fellow rappers.
Ill Mind of Hobson 8.
I want to say 8. Yeah, because 9 was about his kid.
Yeah, so 8 tells that whole story.
So to follow up with it, so he part ways and did his own thing, and he started Undercover Prodigy, and I'm just so happy.
Hobson started that.
Undercover Prodigy.
That was it. He founded that.
That's it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's what's up.
So he got his own label now. He's pretty much his own boss, and I'm just so happy to hear these guys. Hopefully they can squash it and go back to killing shit, because Hobson's, Jaren, Dizzy, even Swizz. They were killing shit at one point. And,
yeah, that whole FV camp was.
So now it's Undercover Prodigy. I know I've been doing this thing for a while now, and I'm just actually excited to hear that, and I can't wait to hear new music. And the minute we get it, we'll review it, talk about it with you guys.
But yeah, man, Hobson. I mean, we've mentioned him before. He's one of the dopest underground lyricists.
Definitely. We've seen him several times.
Yeah, and again, if you need to check him out, his Ill Mind series.
Ill Mind. Start off with the Ill Minds. And you could work in from Raw.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that, man. And Dizzy's, I'm hot and cold with Dizzy.
Dizzy's nasty, bro. I like Dizzy, bro. I know Dizzy be on his shit, but he's always on some positive shit, bro. And I feel that energy, and I love that energy.
I guess it's more his sound, his recent sound. I don't know, it's not like golden age material. Like that mixtape was crazy. Like that era of Dizzy and his earlier stuff. Yeah. I would like to see a return from a form to him on that.
Definitely want to hear those guys together again. But yeah, back to the underground, the artists that probably don't get a lot of attention, right?
Yeah. So, there's not a lot of female representation in hip hop. And we'll maybe have this discussion on the podcast another time. The females.
You got your mainstream females.
Well, not even that, but they're just their place in hip hop. You know what I mean? With overt misogyny and a lot of the records and stuff like that. So that would be a topic for another day. But I definitely want to give a shout out to who I really feel is the most talented female MC, lyricist, rapper out today. Who I feel like does not get anywhere near the shine she deserves. Snow the Product.
Oof.
I can't say enough. She's just nasty.
Amazing.
Super underappreciated.
Talented.
Check her out. One of my favorite verses of her recently was on the Immigrants record off the Hamilton mixtape. That was a track she did with Kanan, Riz MC, and Residente, who's a Latino hip hop artist, if you don't know, from Puerto Rico. She kills that verse. I don't think she's put out anything in a bit, but she recently dropped a record called Today I Decided, and she kills it, and she's talking her shit. And another, just more to Snow's credit, I mean, she's been featured with King Crooked, aka Crooked Eye. She's been featured with Tech Nine. I mean, we're talking about top tier lyricists,
and she keeps up.
Hell yeah, she keeps up.
There's 2 songs that if you just want to even just get into it just to see what we're talking about. Not for the weak-minded with Crooked Eye, where she fucking destroys it. I want to see your favorite MC female keep up or spit just as crazy as shit that she did. She stood on point and she told her story. And So Dope with Tech Nine and 2 or 3 other artists, Recognize and a lot of other guys. I'm sorry, I can't say their names right now. But amazing fucking song.
Yeah, so look up Snow the Product. Check out her catalog. I'm gonna play a snippet off her latest track. Today I Decided. Just beep it again. Today I Decided by Snow the Product. No copyright infringement intended. If you don't know about Snow, I don't think y'all ready.
They're not.
Today I decided to not give you bitches
Woo.
I've been too humble too much in my life. Cutting them off, so I'm measuring twice. Cause this time I'm meaning, I'm still fucking breathing. Bitch, there was better ways to hand me the knife. Like poor little Snowy, Bodie is on me. Half of these idiots dumb as a brick. Swear I won't use it when all up on YouTube. I aim with a 45 fucking intense. Imagine if not stolen whip with a 10. Imagine if I finally wanted to quit. Imagine if this industry took the life out of bitch and all I got is fucking revenge. Who would I ride on if I'm about to call it?
Again, that was just a snippet off of Today I Decided by Snow the Product.
And I'm gonna have to follow up with So Dope verse.
You know I've been the type to not go all in on hoes I've been around, but the flow I spit, it's hoes all in the zone that I won't talk shit, but oh my damn, they wrong and these men calling in. They wonder if I'ma get with a little dick that got no common sense and with no college in. They position is probably something insignificant. If you think I'm a bitch, cause I probably missed the game you kicking. They've been hollering, hope I acknowledge it, cause I've been methodically dropping the common knowledge that I don't get down like that.
Tell me she don't spit better than half of these dudes out here, please.
And I'm gonna have to follow up with one more verse.
Again, huge shout out to Snow.
Yeah, where you got fans over here, girl.
Music affects.
King Crooked.
Shouts out to Crooked.
Switch the scenery up to a bank. That's how a real nigga cut to the chase. Pour a little vodka, load the Glock up, then roll some bomb up that'll blow Saddam up. Pull up in the drop with Snow the product.
Here we go.
Fuck is our code of
I've
conduct.
been at this shit through past two rents, and I've been broke, I've been homeless, shit packed in bins. Calling at this is back when text bracket shit was way past any practical math I did. Now I'm halfway past half to a capitalist. 3/4 stay out of the rap top of the list. Now I'm really getting my dividends and stacking a bit. Gotta go back to where I'm from to mentally handle this shit. Cause I've been a nobody so long. Gotta be a just get a North Hollywood home. Still close enough to deal with bullshit deals, but yet far enough to be where Latin folks roam. Originality with a capital O. One game wanna see a bitch broke with no soul. So I grasp it tight because a chick like me know that I would drop these bitches cause old habits are slow. I've never been a punk and I never been a bitch, so you bitches better run. We all know the benefits cause your 15's done with my 16's hit. Heard games out for fun, but this game's bullshit. Bitch, no, I did not come this far to quit. This argument is not even real. Went from not having a pot to piss to copping whips and stocks and casas in hills.
All right, let me stop before we fucking get shut down before we even begin.
Yeah,
but
yo, word. Snow, we love you. Shout out. Again, no copyright infringement intended. Shouting you out, giving you some whatever little exposure we can give you. Definitely go check out. Another reason why I want to shout out Snow is because she don't try to sell out like most of these females. She don't sell, the sexual image.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a beautiful girl, but she don't use that. You know what I mean? Like she's just all about the bars, and she kills shit. So shout out to Snow. Check her out.
Woo. And the last artist that we want to bring to your attention to is another underground artist. I'm pretty sure if you guys have Facebook or Instagram, probably came across. His name is Tom McDonald.
Yeah, we getting deep underground with this one.
What can I say about this guy? This guy is, you need to listen to him. He has some tracks that, like, you know what I'm saying? If looks could be deceiving.
Yeah, well, I just want to make that point. You said listen to him. Please, if you look up a video, don't look at him and be like, nah, these dudes on Live from 95 is wildin'. Nah, you need to listen to him because he definitely doesn't.
Again, music is
sound like
for
what he
the
looks
ears.
Like. Yeah, and the heart and the soul.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a little snippet from something that I actually heard earlier. Let me see if I can actually come across it.
Where are we going?
We're going to shoot a music video.
We just drove.
Talking. You press pause when a game hard and you need options. I flex often, you lame awkward, you geeks awful. Solid like a statue in a bulletproof vest. Inside a plexiglass encasement full of hardened cement. Then wrapped in carbon fiber armor locked inside of a chest. Kept in a confidential area with barbed wire fence. Man, I'm lit. Like gasoline is free with a lighter. I'm reaching maximum capacity, can't be any tighter. I'll hold your grandson as ransom. The family hella frightened and put his face in a magazine with a reward if you find him. Super savage, I'll laugh when your Uber crashed and I'll smash your computer after and dash to a school classroom. Then act like a student vandal and scratch up the tutor's Mazda when they ask if I knew what happened. I'll jack a Suzuki wagon, put a rag in a fuel tank and watch the fireworks like 4th of July. I'm like lightning in a bottle or a sorcerer's eyes. Rappers hating on me lately, they're just bored of their lives and chasing clout on borrowed time, but I'm the owner of mine. Born to survive, y'all were built with older designs. It's too late for an update, your paper's ordered and signed. I'm sorry your motor isn't performing like mine. I know it's morbid, I look forward to the moment it dies. That's not important, no. These rappers are my sons, I'm running orphan homes. I force feed them poison porridge, shutting down their organs slow. I'm always going glory hole, that's balls to the walls. You know how the story goes, don't talk to the cops. If they corner you and force it, then I do not recall. That's got a lot in common with the way I feel about your songs. They forgettable, like I smoked a blunt and followed it with edibles. So popped a bunch of ecstasy while hammered at a festival.
Yeah, man. He's definitely one of the nicest people that you guys should definitely pay some attention to and give him a listen if you can, because he's also spitting some real shit, and we're supposed to support that real shit.
Yeah, check him out. He's definitely one of the more even lesser known artists than what we usually cover on this segment. But yeah, shout out to Tom McDonald.
Shouts out to Snow. We love you, girl.
Yeah. And on that note, thank y'all again for the support, for tuning in. This has been live from 95 with RNG. Have a good whatever it is to y'all, morning, afternoon, night. Peace, love, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.